Growing up, I guess how I became this way, and I try to explain it to people sometimes, is like and I think this is how everyone is, when you look at people and you're like, wow, that person's beautiful, you want to emulate them growing up. So if you're a little girl and you're looking at women who have blonde hair and you have black hair, you're like, oh, I want to dye my hair blonde. Well, when I was a kid, I would look at people and be like, oh my God, like they're so beautiful. They had tattoos all over them and they have piercings and, all kinds of shit. And so that was just what I wound up emulating. I have like a tattoo on my head and full sleeve and scarification, all this shit. And I guess when I did it, I never expected for people to have the reaction to me that they did. I didn't realize that was going to happen. People who would know me all my life, I started getting work done when I was 16. And it was like they didn't know how to interact with me anymore. Like people in my family didn't know how to talk to me anymore because to them I was suddenly a totally different person. I was the type of person that gets tattoos. And to them, that's a type of person. And it's not a type of person that they know, and it's not a type of person they know how to interact with. So immediately, like, our family, like, close connection was wiped away. And it was the weirdest thing because I was only 16 and I'm like, I don't understand what just went wrong. Like, what's happening? And so I realized that if I want to look a certain way, I have to be so forthright with who I am so that it comes across fuller than their immediate reaction. And I also realized after a while that if someone who's known me my whole life and who knows me and is a family member or a close friend of mine can suddenly feel like they don't know who I am, that means that prejudice, that whole judging a book by its cover thing, it happens so far before that. We judge books before they're written. We decide that we know exactly what someone is like based off of really basic, rudimentary, superficial things. And we do it before we even see them. We think that prejudice occurs on sight and that we look at you and you look different and now we have a judgment. We made that judgment before we knew you were born. We were walking down the street and we had already decided that we knew you yesterday. And when we saw you walking down the street, boom, that judgment we already made, that clicked in. And the cool thing that happened there was I started going back through all of like my lifetime of programming just through social media, through television, music, movies, things my family told me, things my friends told me, things my community believed as a whole, or whatever religion that I subscribed to at the time. And I started undoing all of that because I realized we're all doing that. Like there are so many people, and I think that at a time when I was younger, I might have looked at somebody that looked like the opposite of me, and I would have already decided I know her. I know I don't like her. I know she won't like me. I know we won't be friends. I know we have nothing in common. I know we won't be able to have a conversation. And that was asinine. We really quickly want to just write people off the minute that they disagree with us or that we have an issue with them. And for me, it was like, no, this is a tattoo. This is nothing. This dies when I die. It's not shit to me. The funny thing is, and I didn't even want to say this, but like I feel like I should now because he was the person in the video with me, my dad. It was very much like he just didn't know what to say to me, or he suddenly felt like he didn't know how to interact with me. My dad hates tattoos. He does not like them at all. It was mostly just like consistency, just continuing to try to interact with him and be myself that I've always been until it like kind of clicked for him that like nothing really actually changed. Like my skin is a different color in this one place. Like it's just got, it's colorful and it's got a drawing on it that I can't wash off, but like that's neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with like the integrity of a person or the substance of that person, and it can't really change it. He's my best friend and I'm definitely his best friend. I'm like the best thing that ever fucking happened to him. He is so lucky to have me. And we do all kinds of ridiculous shit together. I convince him that we should just like buy plane tickets and go to Seattle to see an A$AP Rocky show, and then he like gets me to do archery in a swamp every week, and like we're best friends. So I'm currently a makeup artist, and I'm going to school to become a doctor. One of the first things obviously that people were saying was, well, are you going to grow your hair out? You have a tattoo on your head. And I was like, probably not. And they're like, well, are you going to cover your arms? And I was like, I mean, I have one on my hand. I'm going to continue getting my hands done. And everybody was, what are you going to do? You're going to be a doctor. I'm like, yeah, I know. Because this is a thing that I realized. I worked a lot of different jobs. The thing that I learned was, if you're really fucking good at what you do, no one cares what you look like. If you make sure that you are the expert of your field, no one cares what you look like. And so that's what I did. When I became a makeup artist, I spent a year taking out every single book at all 3 of the libraries in my county on makeup, on artistry, on makeup artists and their lives, on makeup artistry business, on art theory. I spent a year before I even tried to get my foot in any doors because I wanted to be the best, because I didn't know if people would want to work with me. I didn't know if they would want to hire me because of how I look. So I had to make sure that they would have no choice. If they wanted the best, they would have to hire me. And that's what I'm doing with medical school. I work my ass off because when I get out, I will be the expert. I will be the best in my field. Because I want to be able to look this way and still have the life I deserve. So it would be nice if this didn't matter, but to most people it does. Then work harder. That's some good incentive to work harder. Be better. Be nicer. Be kinder. Be smarter. What's the worst that could happen? You're way fucking better? Oh no. So I just am not discouraged at all. I'm not going to stop getting tattoos. I'm not going to stop filling my hands and my head and my neck, and I'm not going to drop out of school. I'm just going to keep going. And I might get 10 doors slammed in my face. That means I go to 11 doors. That means I start my own practice. That means I figure it out. That's a really good basis. It's a great foundation for having to be creative, for having to think laterally. Have every fucking door slammed in your face. That is such a beautiful launch pad. To be told no 1,000 times, to be rejected repeatedly. That's how rock stars start. That's how music is born. That's how art exists. That's how everything we think is so fucking cool gets established. Because they had to think of something different, because they had to try harder. Because someone said no, or I don't care, or I don't like you. So you had to try harder. You had to work harder. You had to learn more. I will never, ever be able to walk in anywhere. I can't walk in anywhere, right? And expect people to automatically assume I'm intelligent, or that I'm kind, or that I'm interested in their life, or that I'm a hard worker. I will never have that luxury. Thank fucking God. I will always have to walk in knowing my shit, doing my best, being my strongest. I will always have to be able to just swallow rejection like it's nothing. Thank God. I can't imagine if I didn't. If I could go and be shitty, if I could suck at my job, or treat people like crap, or not develop myself at all, and just skate by, and everyone say, okay, okay, okay. How awful would that be?